in chaos. President Charles Pugh's trouble, just one part of that. As we reported last week, Kwame Kenyatta resigned from the council, and today Gary Brown has stepped down. He will join emergency manager Kevin Orr on a mission to get the city in financial shape. 7 Action News reporter Jim Kurtzner is live now with new information. Jim, with Brown moving, is anyone being cut? It seems like there's a whole lot of people at the top now.
It is indeed getting crowded at the top. In the mayor's suite on the 11th floor, you have the mayor, his appointees. That's where the emergency manager, Kevin Orr, and his appointees are working. Gary Brown is moving in next week with one of his appointees, and Gary Brown is moving in with a mission.
To be a part of restructuring city departments, to try to close the gap between people, process, and technology.
The emergency manager, Kevin Orr, will focus on negotiating with creditors, starting with taking that 10 cents on the dollar in the $17 billion deficit. Gary Brown, at the same time, will be cutting the bottom line.
You hit it right on the head. I mean, let's free him up. I have, a PhD in city government after being here the last 4 years and listening to citizens and watching dysfunctional government work. So I know what the problems are. I know how this building works.
Mayor Dave Bing has been a strong mayor running the city day to day for 3+ years. Where does this leave him?
I don't know that he would be willing to resign from being mayor and take the job.
The mayor has a role to be mayor, and we need the mayor doing the mayor's job.
Gary Brown's move may be bad news for city employees, even some of the appointees of Detroit Mayor Bing. Brown will help decide layoffs and outsourcing.
He has a reputation of being a bulldog in terms of going after the issues that need to be dealt with, and we really need someone of that character with that knowledge of the city.
They're going to criticize you.
Well, I think
that you're a sellout.
Well, I'm enough with the name calling. Let's all just get in the same boat and row in the same direction and try to fix the problem.
Now, Gary Brown could be attending what will be his last council meeting here at City Hall tomorrow. It's a very important meeting closing this fiscal year. He talks at length about Charles Pugh not being here the last couple of days and why he needs to be here tomorrow. We'll have more on that for you coming up at 5:30. Joanne, Jeff.
Okay, Jim, well, we all know that Gary Brown was a police officer at one point in time. How much will he be restructuring that department, as we know that is Orr's and his priority of public safety?
He made it very clear when he talked with us today that he's going to leave the most of that up to the new incoming police chief, James Craig, who's moving up from Cincinnati. This is James Craig's hometown. He starts next week on the 1st of July as well. In fact, the new chief has scheduled a news conference here in town tomorrow to discuss his plans. Chief Craig has told us when he was up here and accepting the job, his plan is to revamp the city police department, put as many boots on the street without having to add staff.
Thank you, Jim.
Well, a little bit more about this story here. Gary Brown's new salary will be $225,000 a year, and he will start next week as Detroit's chief compliance officer. And just ahead at 5:30, Jim talked about Brown talking about the Pugh controversy. We'll also look at the restructuring of the Detroit City Council yet to come.